What's up guys? Today I am back with you with another video, and today we are talking about, what are we talking about today? The Canon EOS R. But before we get started, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, comment down below, have you ever used the Canon EOS R? Because I have. I rented it this weekend. So I decided over the weekend that I would give this baby a spin because I haven't had the opportunity to really jump on the Canon mirrorless train yet. And so I was like, I got plenty of time and why not? Now I have used mirrorless cameras before. I've used a few Sony bodies. I've used the Fuji bodies we own. I actually gifted it to my husband. An X100, maybe an S or T, I can't remember. I think it's an X100T. I don't mind those mirrorless bodies at all. I think they're quite great. I enjoy using the Sony, but for me, considering that I use Canon when I'm not shooting mirrorless, this was just extremely seamless, and I am amazed how much I fell in love with this camera body. After one weekend of use, very short time, these are kind of some of my thoughts. I rented also the Canon 85 RF lens to go with this mirrorless system. Now you can get an adapter and use most of the Canon lenses you have in your bag, but if I was going to use the mirrorless system, I really wanted to see what kind of glass they had to go with that. One of the things that I've been most impressed with is how sharp the glass is. I'll share some of the images that I took now and you can see how sharp they are. It's insane. As a photographer, I don't really enjoy being in front of the camera. I prefer to be behind it. But with our new child, I really want to be in picture. I noticed that all of the pictures that I have are either just our baby by herself or of my husband and the baby because I'm the one taking the pictures. So what I really loved about this camera is the touch feature for the touch shutter. With this, you can see here there is a touch shutter disable, touch shutter on, and what that allows you to do is take a photo just by touching the screen. So it's really seamless. It's great for people like my parents or even my husband, who does know a little bit about photography. I can just have him, I can literally say, hey babe, I really want a picture of me and the baby. I can just hand this to him, which I did several times this weekend, have him just touch the shutter, and there's a great image right there. So that is a feature in and of itself that makes this camera like gold for a family. Really great for just your everyday person. One of the other things I really love about this camera is that with the video, this, as a YouTuber, like being able to shoot while looking at that is amazing. But one of the coolest things about this is the fact that this camera has C-Log. So it's completely stripped down, it's raw video footage, and you can add whatever LUTs you want to it. Another great feature about this is how programmable it is. So if you'll look here at the top, you have all of these buttons that allow you to have manual functions. There's this touchpad on the back right here, as well as a ring. And the ring is right here. And so while I did really get into those features this weekend, I didn't get the opportunity to explore them as much as I would have wanted. But what I can tell you is that they are really nice to have. I can literally set this up the way I would my 1DX Mark II. That's a pretty cool feature to have it that customizable. One of the issues I noticed is that continuous shooting with this is just really not fast enough. When I'm shooting my 1DX Mark II, I average anywhere from 12 to 14 frames per second. I think it lists it at 16 frames per second, but the highest I've ever gotten is 14 frames per second. I didn't get to practice this on sports, but I did get to practice this with some movement and motion, and it's just not fast enough. Somewhere where I could see this being utilized in sports is potentially like those shots that you get at the end of a game between coaches or players as they greet one another in the middle of the field. But other than that, I think probably some nice portraiture during games, but other than that, I just can't really see this being utilized in sports. I'm interested to see, well, one, see if we even have a football season, but if we do have a football season, take this out again and see what it's like trying to keep up with my 1DX. Something else that was a little bothersome is, so one of the great things about this camera is how light the body is. So the body is, I'm gonna turn this off real quick. The body is super light. Compared to what I'm used to carrying around with the 1DX series, this is just extremely light. But this lens, it's definitely heavier than my 70-200. It's not quite up to 300 2.8, but it is heavy and bulky. And when it's placed on this camera, it really makes it top heavy. So, which, to be honest, I'm kind of used to. A 300 2.8 or 400 2.8 added to a 1DX body still feels kind of top heavy. It's still way more top heavy than I'm used to. One of the other issues about this camera is the focus. So it has really nice auto features, especially when you're shooting video. I was really impressed with that. But one of the things that bothers me is that there's not really a great way to get in here and move your focal point quickly. So you can come back here, and the touchscreen is amazing for moving it around. But the issue is that I don't have time to do that when I'm shooting sports. I don't have time to, you know, come here, look here, then shoot. Like, I've already missed the opportunity to shoot the picture at that point. So I can see utilizing this for shooting basketball potentially with this focus feature, when your focus is pretty much just set on the numbers and you just go from there. So I can see utilizing it that way, but I honestly can't see myself shooting something like football where the movement is all over and I'm constantly, like, you know, if I had the opportunity to quickly adjust that focal point, then I would do that. But there's just not a great way to do that with this camera. You find yourself utilizing this back screen quite a lot, and it is very sharp and it is very quick, but for sports it's just not quick enough. So it was really hard over the weekend to try to find how I could do that quickly, you know, especially with my child right now. I was taking a lot of pictures with her with this, and I'll share some of those, but I missed, you know, she might be giggling with her dad and then the next second she's not, and is gone, you know. I can't get back that. So, you know, and if I wanted to frame the photo differently or quickly move the focus, it just wasn't quick at all. I am one of those people that really likes to utilize my focus a lot, and this camera kind of inhibited me from doing that as much without chimping. So some other things I think that are really great about this camera that I haven't been able to utilize before is the touch screen. So if you'll look here, you really have full control over some of these features. So you have, you know, like your shutter you can change very quickly, your f-stop you can change very quickly, your ISO very quickly, and these are also features that you can add obviously to these manual buttons, but it's just so cool to be able to change this, you know, to single shooting. You can change the quality very quickly, to raw or whatever it may be. It was amazing to be able to utilize those features just by touching the back of the screen. It's very impressive. So another neat feature about this that I wish my Canon 1DX cameras had is when you're switching out the lenses, the shutter closes. I don't know if you guys can see that from there. Let's see. But it's completely closed. And now when I turn the camera back on, you just heard it open. So I wish that all Canon cameras had that. That is an amazing feature. It makes it so there's less likely to be damage done to your camera body, less dirt getting in there. So overall, would I switch out my Canon 1DX bodies with this? No. Would I purchase this camera? Absolutely. Anything that isn't sports, I can see myself utilizing this camera for. This is a camera I am extremely excited about. Or nothing against Fuji, nothing against the Sony cameras. I just like am way more comfortable with Canon, and using this camera just felt seamless for me. Like it just was like the same experience, but a new opportunity. That might sound kind of cheesy, but it felt comfortable, but took me out of my comfort zone. So I'm really excited about this camera. I'm also really excited to try the Canon RF and the Canon RP, just to see what the differences are between these. I'll do reviews on those as well. But yeah, I am pretty stoked to continue trying this mirrorless camera, and to definitely try it once we have sports back again. We will see you guys on the next video. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment below, let me know what other gear I should review, and we'll see you guys back next week for the continuation of Camera Basics.